Let me tell you something that could change everything. If you train your mind the way millionaires do, you'll stop running from problems and start solving them. You'll stop chasing money and start creating wealth. You'll stop waiting and start becoming. Because the real battlefield isn't your bank account. It's not the market. It's not your job or what people think about you. The battlefield is your mind. And if you don't take control of it, someone else will. Most people, they don't train their minds. They let them wander, react, shrink under pressure. But millionaires, they train their minds like warriors preparing for battle. Every single day, with precision, with intention, with purpose. Let's go back to the beginning. I used to think money was the answer. If I just worked harder, clocked more hours, stayed up later, I thought I'd make it. But I discovered something that changed the way I live, and I want you to hear it loud and clear. Formal education will make you a living, but self-education, that will make you a fortune. You don't become wealthy by just using your hands. You do it with your mind. Because everything around you, your phone, your car, your career, your entire life, started as a thought, an idea in someone's head. So if you want different results, start with different thoughts. If your thinking is small, your actions will follow, and so will your results. But if your beliefs expand, your world will expand right along with them. Take a moment right now and ask yourself, how big do you really think? Not about others, about you. Because most people don't fail from aiming too high and missing. They fail from aiming too low and hitting. They're afraid to think big, afraid to ask for more, afraid to believe they deserve it. But millionaires, they train themselves to think beyond survival. They don't ask, how do I get through this week? They ask, how do I build a legacy that lasts generations? They stretch their vision. And if you don't stretch your thinking, you'll stay stuck in the same financial zip code forever. Believing you can do more, that's the first step. Being willing to become more, that's where it starts. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's not just feel-good affirmations. It's about mental discipline. And mental discipline means doing what you need to do, when you need to do it, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Every millionaire I've ever met built that bridge, stone by stone, with discipline. Not motivation, not hype, not luck. They trained their mind daily. They wrote things down. They made plans. They reflected. They adjusted. They worked on their thoughts, their words, their focus. And here's the secret most people miss. It's not hard to do. It's just incredibly easy not to do. It's easy to skip the book. Easy to avoid the journal. Easy to say, I'll think about my goals tomorrow. That's how people drift into mediocrity, into a life of regrets. But not you. You're here. You're hearing this now. And once you hear the truth, you can't unhear it. Maybe you've let your mind run on autopilot for too long. Maybe fear's been in the driver's seat. Maybe doubt's been whispering in your ear. That's okay. The key isn't to beat yourself up. The key is to wake up. You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction today. And that shift, that moment of awareness, that's the moment everything begins. Take back control. Like a captain guiding a ship, start steering your mind deliberately. Start with awareness. Notice the thoughts that don't serve you. Catch them, challenge them, replace them. Stretch your thinking, because once your mind expands, it can never go back to its old size. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job, because the more powerful your mind becomes, the easier everything else gets. Earning becomes easier. Solving problems becomes easier. Leading people becomes easier. Train your mind, and life will obey. Let's keep going. Let's go deeper. Now I want to show you exactly how millionaires condition their thinking. The daily habits, the mental rituals they repeat again and again. Things you can start doing today. Because success, it's not something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. Let me say that again. Success is the natural result of a few simple disciplines practiced daily. That's the cornerstone of the millionaire mind. It's not about making giant leaps. It's about making small steps, repeated over time, with consistency. You don't just become wealthy. You earn wealth. And you earn it through what you do every day. Through the way you think, what you read, what you focus on, and what you practice. Habits, not hype. Discipline, not drama. If you master your habits, you will master your mind. And if you master your mind, there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can't accomplish. So let's start at the start, the morning. Millionaires don't wake up by accident. They rise with intention. They rise with structure. They rise with purpose. Either you run the day, or the day runs you. And everything begins in the morning, not with scrolling, not with reacting, but with stillness, with clarity. Your morning is your message to your mind, I lead, I'm in charge. So let me give you 3 habits that transformed my life, and every millionaire I've ever spoken to does these consistently. Habit 1. Read. Miss a meal if you must, but never miss reading. Feed your mind like you feed your body. Even just 10 pages a day can reshape your future. 10 pages a day becomes over 3,600 pages a year. That's more than most people will read in a decade. Habit 2. Write. Millionaires keep journals, not just notes. They think on paper. They clarify their thoughts, write down their lessons, their goals, their gratitude, their progress. When you write, you make the invisible visible. You slow down your thinking. You gain control. Habit 3. Reflect. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did I grow today? What can I do better tomorrow? That's how you train your mind, not with perfection, but with awareness. You don't need to do everything at once. Just start. Master one habit, then add another. Because here's the truth again. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. It's easy to skip the book. Easy to avoid the journal. Easy to say, I'll think about my goals tomorrow. That's how people lose their future, not in one big moment, but in 1,000 small decisions. You can reverse that. You can begin today, right now, by building the habits that lead to mental wealth. One page, one note, one reflection at a time.
If this message touched your heart, take a moment to like the video. It helps more than you know. Share it with someone who might need this today. And if you want more content that feeds your soul, subscribe and stay with us. Your journey matters, and you're not alone.
Let me tell you something most people will never hear in their lifetime. Millionaires don't just respond to life, they design it. They don't wake up and hope the day goes well. They decide how it will go. And they build daily rituals that protect that decision. They don't drift, they direct. They don't get lucky, they get ready. And here's one of the simplest, most powerful tools they use. They don't start the day until they finished it on paper. That's right. Before the day begins, they've already written down what matters. Goals, priorities, focus points. They don't just react to the urgent. They act on what's important. Even if things go off track, and they will, their mind knows they're serious. Serious about progress. Serious about leadership. Serious about life. Because leadership isn't about controlling others. It's about leading yourself. And when you do that, Wealth doesn't just show up in your bank account. It shows up in your clarity, your energy, your relationships, your habits. Because wealth always flows to order. When you stop drifting and start leading, you don't just attract money. You attract ideas, partnerships, opportunities, people who align with your mission. That's how success works. Not through chaos, but through consistency. So let's break this down. Millionaire habits don't require talent. They don't require genius. They don't even require much time. They require commitment. You don't have to do something spectacular today. You just have to do the right things consistently. We all pay a price. The price of discipline or the price of regret. Discipline is paid in small daily efforts. Regret is paid with your dreams, your peace, your time you can't get back. So choose wisely. And now that you've seen how to build mental strength, it's time to learn how to protect it. Because if your mind is constantly under attack, you'll never build the life you want. You cannot build a strong mind in a toxic environment. So let's talk about something most people completely ignore: guarding your mind. Stand guard at the door of your thoughts like your future depends on it. Because it does. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Not your resume, not your house, not your car. Your mind is where confidence is created, where wealth is designed, where success is built. But here's the problem. Your mind is also vulnerable to doubt, to fear, to negativity, to distraction. And unless you protect it, negativity will sneak in. And it doesn't come through the front door shouting. No, it slips in through the side window, whispering, "Be realistic." People like you don't do things like that. That's just not how the world works. It hides behind sarcasm. It dresses up as humor. It wears the mask of realism. And if you're not careful, you'll start repeating it, believing it, living by it. Not because of facts, but because of input. Let me give you a powerful metaphor. Your mind is a garden. Every day, you're either planting seeds of strength or letting weeds of weakness take root. And weeds, they don't need permission. They grow fast, they spread, and they choke the life out of your potential. Fear grows. Doubt spreads. Excuses multiply. So how do you fight back? You choose your input deliberately. You become the gatekeeper of your mental environment. And this next part, listen closely. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You don't have to believe it for it to be true. It just is. Spend your time around complainers, you'll start complaining. Spend time with doubters, you'll start second-guessing. Surround yourself with small thinkers, and you'll shrink your vision to fit their comfort zone. But surround yourself with builders, believers, doers, dreamers, and your entire world will expand. You don't just need friends, you need allies. People who call you up, not just out. Choose your circle. Choose your influence. Choose who gets access to your mind. That's not selfish. That's survival. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the modern problem. Most people today are full, but not fed. They consume content all day, but starve their mind of purpose. So here's the question. What are you feeding your mind? Do you scroll past inspiration to get the gossip? Do you fill your head with clickbait drama instead of growth and learning? Are you watching content that lifts you or just numbs you? Because whatever you let in eventually comes out. People wonder why they're anxious, distracted, discouraged. It's simple. They've let negative voices take up space in their mind for free. So cut it off. Unfollow the pages that drain you. Mute the voices that mock your goals. Unplug from the noise before it rewires your future. Millionaires don't just train their minds. They protect them like a fortress. Build a mental filter. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Be intentional about your environment. Choose books that lift you, podcasts that sharpen you, people that stretch you. Practice stillness, meditation, prayer, journaling, reflection. Eliminate drama, eliminate gossip, eliminate noise. Because you don't need more information. You need better input. You need stronger boundaries. Wealth doesn't live in chaos. Wealth begins where peace lives. And peace begins in a protected mind. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not pretending the world is perfect. It's not. But here's what the wealthy do differently. They use negativity. They don't dwell on it. They rise because of it. They take criticism and turn it into clarity. They take rejection and turn it into redirection. They take setbacks and turn them into setups. They don't just survive pain. They extract power from it. That's the mindset you need to build. So let me ask you this. Who's standing guard at the door of your mind? Because someone needs to. Someone needs to say, nope, that thought doesn't belong here. No, I don't accept that limitation. No, I choose something better. And that someone is you. You train your mind by what you allow and what you reject. You don't just become strong by saying yes to everything. You become strong by saying no to the things that shrink you. No to doubt. No to drama. No to fear. No to the voices that want to keep you small. Now that you've stood guard, it's time to build. Next, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful elements of millionaire thinking: programming your mind for long-term success. Because the wealthy, they don't just think about this week. They think about the next 10 years. They don't just chase quick wins. They build lasting legacies. Vision, patience, strategic thinking, delayed gratification. That's what separates the wealthy from the wishful. You're ready for the next level. Let's go there.
Let's talk about something that almost no one gets right: long-term thinking. See, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they completely underestimate what they can do in 10, a decade, 10 years. Not a quick fix, not an overnight success story. 10 years of focused effort, smart strategy, and relentless consistency. And the truth is, millionaires play the long game. They don't live on impulse, they live on intention. So here's the truth. Success doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. And that design, it starts in the mind. But here's the twist. Your mind won't naturally drift toward long-term thinking. It's trained, conditioned, built. We live in a world of speed, of scrolling, of instant everything. And most people are addicted to now, addicted to the dopamine hit, addicted to the next quick win. They want results today with the effort of yesterday and the patience of a toddler. But millionaires, they don't live like that. They've programmed their minds to see beyond the weekend, beyond the paycheck, beyond the next like or follower. They think in decades. They plan in years. They work in months. They act in days. And they master their hours. That's how you build something great. Let me ask you something powerful. What can I do today that will still matter in 10 years. That one question will change your life. It will change how you think, how you speak, how you spend your time, how you invest your energy. Because suddenly, you're not building results, you're building legacy. Let me teach you something few people understand. Small disciplines, repeated with consistency, lead to great achievements. But not quickly, not dramatically, not all at once. Slowly, silently, powerfully, over time. That's the principle of compounding. And no, it's not just for money. It works for your mindset, your habits, your health, your relationships, your reputation. Think of a tree. You plant the seed, water it, protect it, and nothing seems to happen. For weeks, maybe months, it looks like a waste. But underneath the surface, it's growing, strengthening, rooting deep. And then, one day, it breaks through the surface and grows into something massive. That's what long-term thinking builds. But most people, they dig up the seed to check if it's growing. They plant, then panic. They water, then worry. They start, then stop. And they wonder why nothing's working. They don't have a strategy problem. They have a patience problem. If it doesn't work in a week, they quit. If they don't see proof by Friday, they change their goal. If someone else seems ahead, they compare, complain, collapse. But millionaires, they know the truth. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you wait for. And waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right things over and over, even when it looks like nothing's happening. So let's delete some mental malware right now. If I don't get results in 30 days, it's not for me. If it doesn't go viral, I'm not good enough. If I fail once, I'll never try again. Delete that, burn it, erase it, and install this instead. I'm playing the long game. Slow success is still success. Every day I show up, I win. Because that mindset, that's the foundation of greatness. Let me give you something practical. Sit down, turn off the noise, and write down your 10-year vision. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to become? What kind of life are you designing? What do you want to build, to give, to create, to leave behind? Write it down. Not just vague dreams. Clarity. Not just, I want to be rich. No. I want to build a business that impacts lives, generates $5 million in revenue, employs people I care about, and gives me the freedom to travel with my family 6 months a year. Specific, measurable, emotional. Because if your vision doesn't stretch your imagination, it won't stretch your effort. And if it doesn't pull you forward, you'll stay stuck. Understand this. The purpose of a goal isn't to get it, it's to grow into the kind of person who deserves it. That's why long-term thinking works. It transforms you. And here's the brutal truth. Most people aren't failing because their dream is too big. They're failing because their patience is too small. They think success is Amazon Prime. Order today, delivered tomorrow. But the real ones, they plant, they water, they trust, they protect, and eventually, they harvest. Millionaires don't get rich fast, they get rich forever. And if you want to build that kind of life, here's the mindset shift. Stop chasing how fast. Start asking, how long am I willing to go? Because long-term thinkers don't burn out from failure, they burn brighter because of vision. If you can see 10 years out, you move differently today. You eat better, you save more, you study longer, you choose better people, you make sharper decisions. Why? Because you're not playing checkers, you're playing chess. Now let me give you the framework. Think in decades,
Plan in years, execute in months, review in weeks, master your days, win your hours. That's the rhythm of high performers. That's how you go from zero to legacy. So let's wrap this part with a challenge. Take one step today that aligns with your 10-year vision. Not something dramatic, something real. Write one page, read one chapter, call one mentor, invest 1 hour, break one bad habit, build one new routine. Just one. Because the dream doesn't die from lack of ambition. It dies from lack of repetition. Do it again and again and again. Because 10 years from now, you'll either look back in gratitude or look back in regret. And the only thing that decides that is what you do now. Next, we're going to take all this vision and activate it. Because thinking is step one, but acting with intensity, that's how empires are built. We've trained the mind. Now it's time to command the body. Are you ready to take massive action with laser focus? Let's go.
If this message touched your heart, take a moment to like the video. It helps more than you know. Share it with someone who might need this today. And if you want more content that feeds your soul, subscribe and stay with us. Your journey matters, and you're not alone.
You've trained the mind. You've built the vision. Now it's time to take the leap most people never take. Massive action with laser focus. Because here's the truth most people ignore. Vision without action is just imagination. You can dream all day. You can build a perfect plan. You can visualize success in high definition. But until you move, nothing changes. The world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. Millionaires understand this deeply. They don't just want results. They create them through consistent, focused, intentional action. So let's kill a myth right now. You don't need more motivation. You need a system that drives you even on the days you don't feel like it. Because high achievers don't wait for inspiration to show up. They act their way into feeling, not feel their way into acting. You hear people say all the time, "I'm just not motivated," as if motivation is something you find lying around. Let me give you the real secret. You don't chase success. You attract it by the person you become. That one sentence will rewire your life. Success isn't something you run after, because when you chase, it runs. You don't get rich by pursuit alone. You get rich by preparation, by growth, by becoming the kind of person who attracts wealth effortlessly. And how do you become that person? By building the right habits, the right mindset, the right identity. See, it's not about asking, how do I make more money? It's about asking, who do I need to become to deserve more money? Because when you become more valuable, the world pays attention. You want $1 million life? Build $1 million character. But most people want to skip this part. They want the reward without the responsibility. They want the prize without the process. But here's the hard truth. If you get wealth before you're ready, it becomes a curse. That's why so many lottery winners lose everything. Why celebrities go bankrupt. Why businesses implode. Because their bank account changed, but their mindset didn't. And here's the truth. If someone hands you $1 million, you better become a millionaire quickly so you can keep it. Because the goal isn't just to make money. The goal is to become the type of person who knows what to do with money. Someone who can multiply it, manage it, stay humble in the face of it, use it with wisdom and purpose. This journey is not just financial, it's personal. So ask yourself, who am I becoming? Most people ask, what do I need to do to get wealthy? But the better question is, who must I become to deserve wealth? Let me give you some real answers. Become someone who shows up every day, on time, ready. Learns something daily and applies it. says no to distraction and yes to discipline, works in silence and lets results do the talking, builds trust slowly, deliberately, over time. You don't stumble into wealth, you grow into it. You earn it, you become it, one decision at a time. That's the inner work, the part no one sees. And here's the deeper layer. Yes, there's your external economy, your job, your income, your network. But what about your internal economy? Your mindset, your beliefs, your emotional control, your habits. Because if your inner world is chaotic, your outer world will always reflect that. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job, and your job will improve. Work harder on your character, and your income will follow. Because money flows to value, and you are the asset. Let me say it in a way you'll never forget. Your income will never exceed your level of personal development. Read that again. Your net worth won't outgrow your self-worth. If your habits are small, your life stays small. If your thinking is limited, your results will be too. You want to change your outcomes? Change your identity. You want to earn like a millionaire? Start thinking like one. Start working like one. Start showing up like one. Start investing your time, energy, and resources like one. That's the path. Not glamorous, not instant, but powerful. Because the truth is, when you become more valuable, you don't have to chase opportunity. Opportunity chases you. Let me give you a framework. Simple, actionable, millionaire tested. 1. Wake up early. Not to scroll, not to rush. Wake up to prepare, to plan, to focus. Mornings are sacred, quiet, undistracted, yours. Use that time to get clear, because if your mind is scattered by 8 a.m., your day is already lost. 2. Feed your mind daily. 10 pages of a good book every single day. Doesn't sound like much? That's 3,650 pages a year. That's more than most people read in a decade. And what happens when you read that much? Your language changes. Your confidence rises. Your ability to solve problems multiplies. Because your mind isn't just reacting to the world, it's leading it. 3. Surround yourself with people who stretch you. Cut out the complainers, the drifters, the doubters. Millionaires aren't mean, but they're selective. They don't spend time with people who drain them. They invest in people who challenge them, sharpen them, lift them. You don't grow in comfort. You grow in pressure, in tension, in honest accountability. 4. Measure what matters. Wealthy people don't guess. They track. They know their goals. They review their progress. They adjust their strategy. They don't wait until the end of the year to find out they wasted it. They check in weekly. They correct early. They move fast and focused. 5. Lead with gratitude. No matter how far they go, they never forget where they started. Gratitude attracts abundance. Arrogance repels it. Millionaires stay grounded, not because they're perfect, but because they remember. They're driven, but they're grateful. They work, but they smile. They grow, but they give. These aren't secrets. These are disciplines. The only question is, will you do them? Because this is what separates dreamers from doers. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. Stop chasing more time, more shortcuts, more hacks. Start asking, how do I become better, more focused, more consistent, more valuable? Because when you grow, everything grows. Your mindset, your opportunities, your income, your impact. But first, you must change. You've been given the tools. Now it's time to build. And I'll close this chapter with the question that matters most. Stop asking, when will I have wealth? Start asking, when will I deserve wealth? That's the better path. You don't get rich by accident. You don't stay rich by chance.
You build yourself. You become the person wealth is looking for. You grow into the life that's been waiting for you. Now, in the next part, we're going to dive into something most people never think about: how millionaires think about time. Because if money is your most visible asset, time is your most valuable one. And how you use it, that's the true difference between struggle and success. Let's go.
Let's talk about a resource more valuable than money, more limited, more precious, and once it's gone, you don't get it back. That resource is time. Every millionaire understands this. You can lose money and make it back, but you can never recover wasted time. And yet, most people treat time like it's infinite. They waste it. They scroll it away. They give it to people who don't value it. They trade hours for distractions, days for drama, and decades for regret. But millionaires, they protect their time like royalty guards a throne. Because here's the truth. You don't manage time. You manage your decisions. Time moves forward no matter what you do. But how you use that time? That's the choice. So let's reframe everything. You're not busy. You're just misaligned. You don't have a time shortage. You have a clarity shortage. And when you don't know your priorities, everything feels urgent. That's why so many people live in a constant state of rush, stress, and exhaustion. Not because they have too much to do, but because they don't know what matters most. So here's the shift. Millionaires don't do more. They do what matters more often. They don't brag about being busy. They're proud of being effective. And effectiveness comes from one thing: knowing exactly what to say yes to and what to say no to. Your calendar is your mirror. It reflects what you truly value. So if your schedule is filled with junk, noise, distractions, don't be surprised when your results are the same. You want to level up? Start guarding your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Let me show you high performers think about time. 1. Every hour has a purpose. Millionaires don't just fill their day. They design it. They don't wake up wondering what to do. They wake up with direction. Whether it's work, rest, family, study, or thinking time, everything has a place. No more winging it. No more, I'll see how I feel. Your time deserves more respect than that. 2. Energy is more important than hours. Let me say this clearly. It's not about how long you work. It's about how well you work. You can grind for 10 hours with distraction or produce in 2 hours with deep focus. Millionaires understand their energy zones. They know when they're sharpest, and they protect that time for their most important work. They don't burn the candle at both ends. They prioritize recovery. Because a tired mind can't create, and a burned-out body can't build. 3. They eliminate ruthlessly. They know the word no is a complete sentence. No to pointless meetings. No to energy vampires. No to doing what everyone else expects. Because every yes is a trade-off. Every minute you give to something unimportant is a minute stolen from your vision. Millionaires aren't afraid to disappoint others temporarily, to stay true to their mission long-term. 4. They use the power list. Not a to-do list with 47 random tasks, just 3 to 5 critical actions every day that move the needle. Not busy work, real work. This one habit alone separates average performers from elite ones. Forget doing everything. Focus on doing what actually matters. 5. They master the art of batching. Instead of switching tasks all day, they group similar tasks together. They batch emails. They batch meetings. They batch creative time. Why? Because switching between tasks kills momentum. Millionaires protect their flow state, that rare zone where time disappears and productivity explodes. 6. They schedule thinking time. Yes,
thinking. They actually block time in their calendar just to think, because clarity is a force multiplier. While others are reacting, millionaires are strategizing. They reflect. They evaluate. They solve problems before they become crises. Thinking is not wasting time. It's sharpening the axe before you chop the tree. Now here's something that might sting a little bit. Most people don't own their time. They lease it out to their boss, to their habits, to their phone, to everyone but themselves. But if you want to build a life of freedom, you must take back control of your hours. Because here's the universal law. The way you spend your hours becomes the way you spend your life. You can either spend your day building someone else's dream or yours. You decide. Let me get practical again. Want to double your results without working harder? Do these 3 things consistently. 1. Plan your day the night before. Don't wake up into chaos. Write down your top 3 priorities, schedule your power hours, prepare your mindset. Sleep with clarity, wake up with direction. 2. Start your morning before the world starts asking for your attention. The first 60 to 90 minutes of your day should be yours. No phone, no notifications, no reacting. Just focus, clarity, momentum. This alone will separate you from 90% of people. 3. End your day with reflection. What did I learn today? What did I do well? Where can I improve tomorrow? That's how champions grow, day by day, insight by insight. Because success isn't just achieved, it's reviewed. Now let's be honest. It's easy to hear all of this and say, I'll start tomorrow. But remember this truth. Later is where dreams go to die. There is no perfect moment. There is no ideal window. There is only now. Success is built in the present. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. You just need to make better decisions today. One better hour, one stronger habit, one tighter schedule, one moment of clarity. And then stack that again and again. Because excellence is not one giant leap. It's small steps taken on purpose. So here's the shift. Don't just spend time. Invest it. Every action is a seed, and the harvest doesn't show up today, but it will show up. 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Your future is watching. The only question is, will it thank you or regret you? Next, we're going to bring all of this together and talk about the final ingredient, identity. Because behind every millionaire mindset is a shift in who they believe they are. It's not enough to do what millionaires do. You must become who they are on the inside. That's what we're diving into next.
If this message touched your heart, take a moment to like the video. It helps more than you know. Share it with someone who might need this today. And if you want more content that feeds your soul, subscribe and stay with us. Your journey matters, and you're not alone.
We've talked about habits, we've talked about vision, we've talked about time. But none of it sticks unless you get this next part right. Identity. Because the truth is this, you will never rise above the story you tell yourself. You can read all the books, follow all the systems, hire all the coaches, watch every motivational video. But if your identity is rooted in doubt, in limitation, in fear, you'll sabotage your own success every time. Let me explain something most people never hear. You don't become wealthy by doing different things. You become wealthy by becoming a different person. Your thoughts shape your identity. Your identity shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. So if you want to change your results, you don't just change your habits. You change your identity. You rewrite the story. Stop saying, I'm not disciplined. I've never been good with money. I'm not the kind of person who succeeds. That's old programming, And if you keep running that software, you'll keep getting the same output. It's time to upgrade, because the version of you that created your current life is not the version that's going to create your next life. Let me say it another way. Your future requires a new identity. You want to earn like a millionaire? You have to think like one, act like one, move like one, become one. Because your external world is a reflection of your internal self-image. And that's why most people stay stuck. They try to change their circumstances without changing their identity. It's like rearranging furniture in a burning house. The foundation is broken, and until you rebuild the foundation, nothing changes long term. So how do you do that? How do you shift your identity? Let's get into it. 1. Change the way you talk to yourself. Words are not just sounds, they're programming. Every time you say, "I'm not good with money," your brain makes that belief stronger. Every time you say, "I can't do that," your brain reinforces that ceiling. So shift it. Start saying, "I am disciplined. I create wealth. I am becoming someone who earns at the highest level. I deserve success because I do the work." Speak it until your mind accepts it. Believe it until your behavior reflects it. You're not lying to yourself, you're leading yourself. 2. Visualize your future identity every day. Take 5 minutes each morning to see yourself as the person you're becoming. Not the person you were, not the person you are, the future you. How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they think? How do they respond to problems? What do they tolerate? What do they attract? Live that in your mind before it becomes your life, because your subconscious can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. So use that power intentionally. 3. Act as if. This doesn't mean fake it, this means practice it. If you were already the successful, focused, disciplined version of yourself, what would you do today? Would you hit snooze or get up? Would you scroll Instagram or study your craft? Would you wait for opportunity or create it? The fastest way to become someone new is to start acting like them. Behavior shapes identity, not the other way around. 4. Track identity-based wins. Most people only celebrate outcomes, money, promotions, results, but that's external. Millionaires celebrate internal wins. Did I say no to distraction today? Did I follow through even when it was hard? Did I stay aligned with my values? Did I lead with integrity? When you start measuring who you're becoming, your identity shifts faster. And that shift, that's where the real power is. 5. Surround yourself with people who reflect your future. This one's huge. Your environment either reinforces the old you or pulls you into the new you. If everyone around you thinks small, plays safe, complains, blames, guess what becomes normal? But if you start hanging around visionaries, builders, doers, your identity elevates because you adapt to whatever you're surrounded by. Choose environments that stretch your standards, raise your ambition, and call you up. Don't just be around people who accept you. Be around people who expect more from you. Let me give you an image. Think of your identity like a thermostat. If you see yourself as a 72-degree person, you might crank things up temporarily. You might hit 80 for a few days, but eventually, your internal temperature brings you back down. That's why people start strong and then crash. They never reset the thermostat. They never upgraded the internal standard. So the real game is raise the thermostat. Not just once, but daily. Reinforce the new story until the old one no longer fits. Because here's the truth. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your identity. And if your identity says, "I'm average," no strategy will save you. But if your identity says, "I'm a builder, a leader, a finisher, a wealth creator," then even on your worst days, you'll move forward. That's the power of identity. And let me tell you something else. You're not broken. You're not behind, you're not too late. You're becoming. And becoming is messy, it's nonlinear, it's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. Because on the other side of becoming is the life that's been waiting for you. A life that matches your effort, a life that reflects your value, a life that feels like you. Not the you they told you to be, the you that you know deep down you could be. And that's why this work matters. Because wealth, real wealth, isn't just money in the bank. It's clarity in your mind. It's peace in your heart. It's confidence in your steps. It's alignment between who you are and how you live. You don't get there by chance. You get there by choice. Every time you choose the higher thought, every time you reject the old narrative, every time you take the small, invisible step forward, you're rewriting your story. You're reshaping your identity. You're becoming someone new. And that's the real victory. Next, in the final part, we're bringing it home. We've trained the mind, we've built the habits, we've protected the time, we've upgraded the identity. Now it's time to live this, to step into it fully. Let's close this strong with the truth that ties everything together. You ready? Let's finish.
This is it. The final step. You've made it through the mental battlefield. You've installed new habits. You've reclaimed your time. You've rewritten your identity. Now there's one thing left to do. Live it. Every single day. Because the truth is, nothing works unless you do. This entire journey, everything we've covered, it only matters if you apply it. Not for a week, not when it's convenient, but as a way of life. You don't become great by doing great things once. You become great by doing small things with greatness every day. Let's bring it all together. Millionaires, high performers, game changers. They don't wait, they decide. They don't chase, they become. They don't complain, they create. So let's get brutally clear. Success doesn't respond to need. It responds to preparation. It doesn't care how bad you want it. It responds to who you are when no one's watching. It responds to the late nights, the early mornings, the silent battles, the quiet consistency. It responds to the version of you who doesn't quit, who keeps showing up long after everyone else stops clapping. And here's the part most people miss. Success isn't something you get. It's something you grow into. You earn it through your choices, through your character, through your discipline. Let me leave you with the mindset that millionaires live by. Don't ask for life to be easier, ask to be better. Because when you improve, everything improves. You stop hoping and start building. You stop waiting and start winning. You stop wishing and start working. That's the path. That's the edge. That's the millionaire mind. Let me give you a final framework, a code to live by, day in, day out. Burn it into your habits, your calendar, your identity. 1. Decide who you want to be. Not just what you want to have. Money fades, status fades, titles fade. But who you become, that lasts forever. Define your standards, your values, your legacy. Start there. 2. Train your mind daily. Success starts in your head before it ever shows up in your hands. Read, reflect, write, rewire. Feed your thoughts the way you feed your body. Because a weak mind creates a weak life. 4. Guard your environment. If your circle doesn't inspire you, it's not a circle, it's a cage. Surround yourself with winners, with warriors, with people who challenge you to grow. Delete the noise, filter the input, control your space. 5. Own your time like it's treasure, because it is. You can always make another dollar, but never another hour. Plan your day, protect your mornings, respect your calendar. Every wasted hour is a dollar you'll never earn. 6. Act like the person you're becoming. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now. Speak like them, move like them, think like them,
Because identity isn't something you wait for. It's something you embody. 7. Measure progress, not perfection. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. Show up. Track the wins. Adjust the losses. Keep moving forward. Because direction matters more than speed. 8. Build before you're ready. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for signs. Start. Start with the book. Start the business. Start the new habit. Start the new life. Even if you're scared, even if it's messy, you can't improve what doesn't exist. So begin. 9. Play the long game. This isn't about quick wins or viral moments. This is about building something that lasts. A brand, a reputation, a mindset, a legacy. The world loves hype. Millionaires love consistency. Be consistent, and the world won't be able to ignore you. Let me give you one last truth. Everything you want is on the other side of who you're becoming. The life, the impact, the freedom, the wealth. It's not hiding. It's waiting. Waiting for you to step forward and claim it. Not with arrogance, but with action. Not with entitlement, but with execution. Not with excuses, but with ownership. So today, don't ask, when will I have success? Ask, who must I become to be worthy of it? Because when you become that person, you won't have to chase success. Success will come find you. Not because you're lucky, not because you're special, but because you did the inner work, the real work. Because you became the person it was waiting for. And when that happens, you don't just make money, you make impact. You make moves, you make history. So now it's your turn. Take this message, turn it into momentum, make it your standard. Because this world doesn't need more noise. It needs more leaders. And your future? It's watching. So rise, lead, become.